Welcome grade 7s, welcome grade 7s in cyberspace as well. Today we're introducing your next assessment task. Can you please have it in front of you? For those of you playing at home, it's this one here. It'll be available on OneNote. Cool. Okay, so your next assessment task, remember we're combining two things. We are combining the emotion from your first assessment task. Also, we are adding to that the logic we'll spend a lot of time going through and working through lately. This assessment task is double-sided. There's a fair bit to it. We're going to spend a bit of time going through it. That'll probably take us through the whole lesson, and that's completely okay. Cool. Okay, let's go through this. As of the 8th of March 2018, 7:30 a.m., there were 7,688,747,485 humans alive. So there's a website you can log on to and it tells you it estimates exactly how many people are alive. And at 7:30 this morning, there were 7,688,000,000 of us. Naturally, yes, question?
Is it supposed to say 2018?
Yeah, 2019. Whoops, my bad. Cool. Naturally, this presents us with a massive array of opinions, beliefs, attitudes, and actions. So that many people, there can be a lot of different attitudes and opinions. Some of these make the world peaceful, ordered, and beautiful. Others make the world messy, chaotic, rude, and crazy. In response, it's important we have clear, logical thinking and present our ideas with conviction and clarity. In your next assessment, you are to write a piece of persuasive writing using both logic and emotion. Now, this task that I'm introducing you to here is the one you've been preparing for with that big planning sheet for the last few lessons, okay? So it's not like you're starting from nothing. We've already done a lot of the hard work here, which is cool. Okay. Your piece should have an introduction, body, and a conclusion. Your introduction should. Now, I want you to keep this with you and keep referring back to it. Thank you. Because this is going to give you all the information you need to do a brilliant job in your assignment. So I want you to view this and also the marking criteria on the back. I want you to view those things as kind of like a checklist to make sure you're doing everything that asks you to do. So, your introduction on the front page still. Your introduction should have, or it should catch the reader's attention. It should also state your logical sequence. So, in my example, I had dogs are caring, humans need care, therefore, dogs are good pets. In your introduction, you need to give that to the audience. We're going to see an example of this later this lesson, or maybe next lesson. It'll show you what that looks like. In fact, that second sheet I gave you, entitled Dogs Are Good Pets or something similar, that's an example that I did. So I completed the assignment that you're going to complete on that topic and gave it to you as a good example of what you could write. Your body should include one main idea per paragraph. So you've got your reasons planned out on your planning sheet. Each of those reasons go in one paragraph each. Your body should give evidence. So remember how you're in that last column on your planning sheet is finding evidence, finding quotes, for example. You should put those in your paragraphs to prove your point, to make it really clear. They should use emotion. Your paragraph should include emotion. So again, don't forget all the things we learned about specificity, showing, not telling, best case scenario, worst case scenario from last assessment. We want to include those as well. And it should aim to have at least 3 paragraphs minimum. Now, some of you might be like, Mr. Grieger, I want to have more like 4 or 5 or 6 paragraphs. Can I? Absolutely, go for it. But I care about quality more than quantity. So I would much rather have 3 really, really, really good paragraphs rather than 10 kind of okay paragraphs. So keep that in mind. Quality is almost always better than quantity when it comes to English and most other things in life as well. Questions? Yo.
Do we
one reason for the paragraph. Yeah. Yes.
Do we, like, as soon as we go in, do we say that, like, humans need care, dogs give care, therefore, do we put that straight in, or do we start
In your introduction?
Yeah.
Yes, you do. And we'll come to this later, but if you want to, you can have a quick look at my introduction and the example. I reckon you've got that. Yep. Just read through my introduction and you'll see that how I've done it there. At the back. Wait, chicken noodle?
John Cook.
John Cook.
So what does this picture have to do with anything?
So on the front page there, you've got a picture. It's a salesman. Anyone know what that salesman is selling? Yes?
Ice.
Excellent. Who's he selling the ice to? Second row. Yes.
Eskimos.
Brilliant. Hands up if you've heard the saying, he could or she could sell ice to Eskimos. Cool. Hands up if you know what that saying means. Second row.
Someone's really good at sales, so they
Good.
sell something that someone has around them.
Perfect. So, someone who's really good at talking, really convincing, really good at changing people's mind. Because an Eskimo, someone who lives up in the Arctic, the last thing they could ever need is ice. And if you're good enough to sell ice to Eskimos and get money for it, you must be pretty darn persuasive. So, adding a bit of colour, that's what we've got on the front page there. Yes?
For the conclusion, do we have to have it like the same amount, like the same like as the other paragraphs?
Good question. No. When we go to the example, you'll get a good idea of what the conclusion should have. Whatever length it turns out to be is fine. Again, quality, not quantity there. Yes?
How many words does it have to be?
Suggested word count, 300 to 700. But again, if you go a bit above, a bit below, I'm marking on the quality, not the amount. Yep.
Okay, and can you call me Bob Ross?
No, I'm going to forget that. All right. Okay. Conclusion. Last dot point here on the first page. Finish with strong emotion. When we look at my example, you're going to see that. And lastly, recap main points in a smooth way, perhaps using repetition. Okay. Any questions before we look at the example? Yes?
What do you mean by a repetition?
So that's a persuasive technique. We're going to look at that in the next couple of lessons. But very simple, it's just when you repeat a few words over. Yeah. Yes?
How do we upload stuff to the website?
I'll show you all that once we get there, all right? Great question. Next week, we'll spend a bit of time getting that up and running. All right. Can you please go to your example, the one entitled Dogs Are Good Pets? Okay, so what I've done is I've completed your exact task myself and given that to you as a good example of what yours should look like. I know sometimes, gentlemen back there, not being distracting, thank you. I know sometimes when a teacher gives you an assignment, it's kind of like, Mr. Grieger, you've given me all these details, but I still don't know exactly what you want me to do. So, if that's you, become very familiar with this. This is back row, gentlemen. Focusing this way, please. This is exactly your task. I've done it on my own topic. This is exactly what you're going to be doing with your own topic. So the introduction, the paragraphs, the conclusion are going to look very similar to yours. Yeah?
I wasn't here for English yesterday, so I don't know what we have to do.
So all we did yesterday is work on your planning sheet. So you're not behind in concepts, you are behind in work time. So you'll be able to catch that up. And if you want some help, I can easily go through that with you. Cool. Front row.
It does say that Spotify wants you go to premium. It doesn't make sense.
My apologies, there's a typo there, that's my bad. Okay, let's have a look at this. This is my example about dogs are good pets. So, our introduction, we're about to read, our introduction needs to catch the reader's attention, it needs to state your logical sequence, it needs to outline the reasons for your argument. Let's see if I've done that. Okay, let's go that a bit bigger. The world can be a demanding place. Spotify wants you to go premium. Your mum wants you to clean your room. And your teacher wants that assignment on time, not 1 minute late, or it's a 10% penalty. What a horrible guy. We are pulled in 1,000 different directions, all demanding our time and our energy. Amongst this, care, compassion, and loyalty are increasingly valuable. For thousands of years, man has had a solid and dependable companion found in dogs. Dogs are caring. Humans need care. Therefore, dogs are good pets. Alright, so my introduction. Back row. Girls, I'm not going to let you sit there not listening, so either listen or you'll be moved. Cool. So, our introduction catches the reader's attention. I did that using specificity. I talked about things I knew my audience would like, such as Spotify, such as mean teachers taking marks off your assignments. So I caught my reader's attention. You're going to do the same thing. Also, I introduced my logical sequence. You need to do that. So in your introduction, say something like, dogs are caring, humans need care, therefore dogs are good pets. So that's the thing that you've got at the very top of your planning sheet. You put that in your introduction. Put that down, please. Are you choosing that to read? Yeah, put it down that way. I can see your face and know you're listening. Thank you. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, thank you. Any questions about your introduction specifically? Yes.
So I don't get it with like the Spotify the mum thing. That doesn't like just it have to do like thinking and that.
So that was there to catch my reader's attention. And I was using that to say, dogs are caring. And I started by, so Spotify, cleaning your room, mean teacher, that was showing you stuff that isn't that caring. And I said, hey, if you've got all this happening, you'd really value a caring dog. Does that make sense? Cool. Yes?
Do assignment should follow the same concept? Like
Of the same style and pattern and layout
yeah.
and sequence? Absolutely. Yeah. Other questions? Is your hand up? No? Cool. Okay. What we might do is we might skip the 2 body paragraphs. Now, I just did 2 paragraphs, mainly because that was enough to give you an example of what to do. You are doing at least 3, remember? So make sure you do at least 3. Let's skip to the conclusion. We remember the conclusions need to finish with strong emotion and recap the main points. So your conclusion, when you get there, needs to finish with emotion and recap the main points. Let's see how I've done that over here. Yes?
I'm just saying, I've noticed your legs gotten a bit better.
Good, I'm glad. Maybe I'm not focusing on it as much. Okay, here's my conclusion. We have seen how caring dogs can be. They have an impressive loyalty. It has also been demonstrated that humans need care. Therefore, it follows that dogs are good pets. Dogs can be a key ingredient in a meaningful and enjoyable life. They are the chopped chips in our cookies, the cool side of our pillow, the smile at the end of the day, and a warm hug at night. Dogs are caring. Human needs care. Humans need care. Therefore, dogs are good pets. So you can see in a couple ways my introduction and conclusion are pretty similar. They've both just restated or told the reader my main point to make it really, really clear to them. Heads up, thank you. Back row, thank you. So they've restated our main idea and made it really, really clear to the audience what we're talking about. Questions at conclusion?
So is the repetition part the can be a key ingredient in a meal, like in the one like they're the chocolate chip in our cookies, etc. Is that the repetition part?
I didn't deliberately use repetition here. There is a tiny bit of repetition there, but it's not a great example of it. So next week, I'll teach you all about it, and that'll make more sense then.
Okay.
Cool.
Not sure how much is this different to the other assignment.
All the differences.
Yeah.
So mainly the logical structure. So you've got your logical step-by-step process. That's the main difference. But you're exactly right in that it's very similar in lots of ways as well. Yeah. At the back.
At the end of our conclusion, do we have to like on our topic obviously, but do we have to write like dogs are caring, humans need care, therefore dogs are good pets, like cutting out?
You need to restate those ideas.
Okay.
If you want to do it in exactly the same words, this is talking at the front. If you want to do it in those exact same words, you can. If you want to write it slightly differently, you're also welcome to. So it's up to you. I'd probably encourage you to use the same words just to remind the reader exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
How many
And
words?
don't play with that. The microphone will be able to hear us. Yeah.
How many words does the conclusion have to be? Out of like the.
Yeah, as a rough guide, what mine would be, that'd be 50, 60 words or so. So as a rough guide, 50 words would be fine. If it's a bit less, a bit more, that's fine as well. Cool. Yeah,
How many paragraphs again?
introduction, conclusion, at least 3 body paragraphs.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes,
Words does the whole thing have to
the rough guide I've given you is between 300 and 700, but that's just a rough guide. So if yours is below 300, it might be a little bit less. The way I think about my guides is how many words would you need to do a good job, minimum? And I reckon at least 300 words would be doing a good job of this assignment. Yeah. Cool. Yes?
Does it matter if it's like 280?
No. So I'm not going to go, 299 words, that's marks off. The reason for that word count is the amount of ideas and persuasion that I'm looking for. I think you'd need at least 300 words to do that. If you can do a really good job in 280 words, you can still get a really good grade. Yeah. Yes?
It says out of 39 on the marking criteria, but it's out of 48.
Yeah. So remember, you can get more than 100% on the assignment. We'll go through that next lesson. But remember, so full marks is 39 out of 39. But I've told you that if you do a better job than 100%, I want to be able to show you that and where you did it. So my marking criteria leaves room for that. And so people's goal by the end of the year should be to say, I'm going to be getting, especially those people who are already getting the B pluses, A minuses. If people are like that, you should be saying by the end of grade 7, I'm going to be getting more than 100% on these assignments. And I want you to have room for that now. Any other questions? Awesome. Next week, we'll go through the marking criteria in some detail because that's going to be another checklist for you to do a good job and what to include. Yeah?
With the like using emotion, is that sort of the stuff that you did in the introduction and sort of like the ending?
Yes.
Okay.
And also, when we look at the paragraphs, you'll see there are some specific details there that we'll use emotion.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah.
So are we mainly using logic instead of emotion, or
Both.
are we just using logic? So we can insert some emotion, but mainly logic.
Both. Really quickly, so let's look at this paragraph here. Let's read through it really quickly and you'll see the logic and the emotion. Every human needs care. According to goldleaf.com, humans crave emotionally significant relationships. This is because, actually, stop. So this first part is logic. Down here, I go into using emotion. Think about the times in your life when everything felt black. Perhaps it was after a relationship breakdown, a bad assignment grade, or a fight with someone you care about. So that's my emotion there. But it's weaved in with my logic up the top. Next week, with a bit more time, we'll go into detail about that. But you use both and you weave them together. Reading through the paragraphs are a good example of how I did that. Up the back. Up front.
Are we using evidence too?
Yes, absolutely. Yep, that's part of your logic. Awesome. Can you please say goodbye to the virtual world?